Ja, guten Abend, meine Damen und Herren, guten Abend, liebe Rockfreunde. Herzlich willkommen zur 8. Rocknacht aus der Grugahalle in Essen. Selbstverständlich wieder live. Dieses Konzert wird heute Nacht die Rockfreunde in fast ganz Europa miteinander verbinden. Dazu begrüßen wir unsere Zuschauer in Großbritannien, in Italien, in Österreich, in Schweden, in der Schweiz, in Norwegen, in Frankreich, in Dänemark, in Holland, in Jugoslawien, in Luxemburg und in Ungarn. Diese Rocknacht könnt ihr natürlich auch stereophon in Radio hören. Alle Sender der Bundesrepublik übertragen die Nacht in voller Länge parallel. Und für mich ist es ja nach wie vor eine absolut verrückte Vorstellung, dass ein Konzert der Who und der Grateful Dead gleichzeitig in Stockholm und in Neapel, in Manchester und in Erfurt gehört werden kann und wir alle zusammen direkt an die Energie und an die Power, zum Beispiel von der Gitarre von Pete Townshend, angeschlossen sind. Ich finde es absolut korrekt. Ein Fahrplan für heute Abend, wie gesagt, gleich beginnen wir mit den Who. Und das geht knapp 2 Stunden und dann wird es eine Umbaupause geben. Die wird dieses Mal etwas länger sein, etwa 45 Minuten, weil nämlich die Grateful Dead haben ihr eigenes Equipment mitgebracht. Und wie wir wissen, ist es sehr umfangreich und muss wohl auch umfangreich sein, damit sie ihren glasklaren Sound, den wir ja von den Grateful Dead kennen, auch hervorbringen können. Also eine Dreiviertelstunde, eine Umbaupause, aber es ist keine Not. Wir haben Musik vorbereitet. Stichwort Bob Marley, Joe Cocker, Albert Collins und so weiter, also keine Not, wie gesagt. Dann gegen 1 Uhr geht es weiter mit den Grateful Dead aus San Francisco und sie spielen uns ein Konzert, satt, dick, in voller Länge mit 4 Stunden.
What can I say to that? Good evening. Welcome to this, the 8th Rock Night from Essen, live from the Grugahalle here in northern Germany. I wish you could see backstage because there's people falling over trying to hold up spotlights that should have been built about an hour ago. So it really is a live program. Let me greet everybody that's with us tonight, and that includes the countries of Austria, Denmark, France, Holland, Italy, Luxembourg, Norway, Sweden, Switzerland, and I was told I should say a special hello to everyone in Switzerland because they felt a bit left out before. It was suggested I should wear a ski cap. But as I went to the hairdressers earlier this week, I fought against that decision. It didn't work out. Also with us, of course, the United Kingdom and Yugoslavia as well. And everybody here in Germany, and of course on the borders of Germany, you can pick it up as well. Just 2 bands in tonight's programme. That's The Who and the Grateful Dead, and they've got as long as they want to play for to play around with. We've got various other things planned. The fact that we're here inside this time instead of outside means that things are a little bit different this time, but I'll shut up and we'll talk about that later. Albrecht, I think it's about time he went on stage and we got The Who out there.
Live as our guests in Rockpalast, viele Freunde haben bei uns zu Gast. Live in Rockpalast, Robert Bundrick, Sean Entwistle, Kenny Jones, Roger Daltrey, Pete Townshend. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight, The Who!
Substitute your plastic mat. I love white, but my dad was black. I substitute shoes lifted out his sack. substitute my coat for you, substitute you for my mom. At least I'll get my washing done. The simple things you see are all complicated. Look pretty young, but I'm just backdated, yeah.
Introducing Mr. John Entwistle on the bass. This is one off our latest album, written by me, called The Quiet One. With another new song. This one's written by Pete Townshend, and it's something a bit different. It's a slow song. It's a number called Don't Let Go of the Coat.
Responsible for flowing behavior. I lost all contact with my only savior.
she'll never understand it. I need your body, but I can't just demand it. I'll let go like a stray, never let him out of your sight. Every lonely one knows the way out. Don't let go tonight, don't let go of the cold. Never let go of the cold. Don't let go of the cold. Don't let go of the cold. Don't let go of the cold. Friends all pass for life, it's just a market, but you have to finish everything you started. So I live my life turning down the runway, sure to get the hang of hanging in there someday. Don't let go of the cold. Don't let go of the cold. Never let go of the cold. Don't let go of the cold. Won't get no more chances. Ooh, forget the one dances. Don't let go. No, no, no. Never let go of the cold now. Don't let me hang on. Ooh, don't try to sing song. Never let go of the cold. As I walked through that hospital door, I was sewn up like a gold. I took a smile at the bottom of the wind, watched the fresh fall of snow. I knew then that my watch would turn. I felt strong and secure, and with a decent take over my nose, I felt almost demure. Goodbye, Sister Disco, with the flashing trash bags. Goodbye, Sister Disco, to your thoughts and your tracks. Goodbye, Sister Disco, I guess I left you behind. Goodbye, now you're so low, like flashing death on your blind. Goodbye, goodbye, Sister Disco. Now I'm doing the music, fix my soul. And I ain't gonna let go. Till the echo of the street band has dissolved. through my disco. Do your flash and your chance. Goodbye, sister disco. I dance and let you behind. Goodbye, now you're so low. Like classic death on his blind.
Thanks, everyone. Cool, you bet, you bet. When you say come over and spend the night.
need you, you say you better. You better, you better, you better. When I say I love you, you say you better. You better, you better, you better. When I say I need you, you scream you better. You better, you better, you better. When I say I love you, you say you better. You better, you better, you better. When I say I need you, you scream you better. You better, you better, you better. When I say I love you, you say you better. You better, you better, you better. When I say I need you, you scream you better. You better, you better, you better. You better bet your life, or love will cut you just like a knife. Gonna carry on with a song featuring Townshend on the vocals. It's a number from the album called Quadrophenia. A number called Drown.
I just wanna drown in your sweet, sweet love tonight.
Sad man behind blue eyes. No one knows what it's like to be hated, to be faded, to tearing on the nights. But my dreams, they are as empty as my conscience seems to be. I have hours only lonely. My love is vengeance, it's never free. No one knows what it's like to feel these feelings like I do, and I blame you. No one bites back as hard on their anger. None of my pain and woe can show through. But my dreams, they aren't as empty as my conscience seems to be. I have hours only lonely. My love is vengeance, it's never free. Stack it over before I use it and lose my cool. When I smile, tell me some bad news before I laugh and act like a fool. And if I swallow away the evil, put your finger down on my throat. And if I shiver, please give me a blanket, be warm, let me wear your clothes. Like to be the bad man, to be the sad man behind blue eyes. Thank you. Here's another new one, another new song. This one's called Another Tricky Day for You.
to aspire. You could inspire even knowing. Don't push their hands, just hang on to the band. You can dance while your knowledge is growing. Never anytime. You can't expect to never climb. Patience is priceless. Not when you try to fly so high. Just stay on the line. Rock and roll will never die. This is no social crisis. This is you having fun. Crisis, burning by the sun. This is true. This is no social crisis. Just another Tuesday for you.
Another tricky day. Another gently night get paid. What the papers say just seems to break down heavy rain. The world seems in a spiral. Life seems such a useless title. But break out and start a fire. It's all been on the line.
No crisis. There's no crisis. You got no crisis. This is true. This is no social crisis. Just another chicken day for you. You can't always get it when you really want it. You can't always get it at all. Just because it's space in your life, it's a waste. You spend your time on going to win for the call.
Just gotta get used to it.
You gotta get used to waiting.
Gotta get used to it.
You know how the eyes just gotta get used to it. It's the way you're skating. This is no social crisis. This is you having fun. Rising burned by the sun. This is true. This is no social crisis. Just another Tuesday for you. Just another Tuesday for you. Just another Tuesday for you. I stand under the underground, and the breeze through my hair. I remember throwing punches around, reaching for my tail. Who are you? Who are you? Oh, who are you? Who are you? Who I really wanna know? Who are you?
Why should I care? Why should I care?
Why should I care? Why should I care?
Before I get old, it's my generation, baby. Why don't you all fade away? Don't I dig what we all say? I'm trying to cause business and sunshine. Talk about my generation, it's my generation, it's my generation. Why don't you all fade away? Don't try and do what we all say. I'm trying to cause a big sensation. Talking about my generation, baby.
Reportage nochmals zu den Who. Sie sind am Freitag angekommen und nach dem Soundcheck in der Halle hat Earl mit Ihnen bzw. mit Pete Townshend ein Interview gemacht und wir haben uns entschlossen, Pete Townshend nicht zu übersetzen. Wir wollen euch das Interview nachher in Ausschnitten zeigen, sondern wir möchten Pete Townshend original euch vorführen und ich gebe nachher eine kurze Zusammenfassung.
Right, what we'd like to do now is to jump forward in time a day from the Grateful Dead and back in time, if you like, from today to Friday afternoon. The same plane, in fact. Well, not exactly the same plane, but the same time of arrival. The Who came to the airport and we got to talk with them a bit afterwards. But let's start off with them arriving at the airport on Friday afternoon.
So, das ist jetzt ein Tag später. Auch Düsseldorf, selbe Zeit. Die Who kommen aus London.
That was an advert for Lufthansa.
Ja. Das ist Roger. Ja, an der Aufmerksamkeit der Presse kann man schon etwas den Status der Gruppe spüren. Kenny Jones. John Entwistle. Pete.
Like the Dead, of course, who have just completed dates in England. They had a full tour through England, which was chaotic at the beginning, but developed into something really special. We saw the outcome of that during the course of tonight's program.
Auch die Who gibt es seit über 15 Jahren. Genau haben sie 1963 angefangen. Damals noch mit ihrem ursprünglichen Trommler Keith Moon. In den 60er Jahren haben sie sich dann voll mit den Mods identifiziert. Dann schrieb Pete Townshend Tommy, die erste Rockoper. Und das brachte dann wieder in eine andere Richtung. Danach eine Zeit der Neuorientierung, eine neue Konzeptmusik von Pete Townshend, Quadrophenia. Und wie Ellen sagte, sie haben gerade eine längere Tour in England absolviert, wo sie wieder rausgekommen sind und sich ihrem Publikum wieder neu vorgestellt haben mit neuem Material.
You saw that trolley just now. The camera was actually lying on it for most of the time, taking the shots. This camera, and they like to play around. If they've got anything they can ride around on, then they'll do it. Here I am, of course, as ever, rambling on. Everybody else is quiet, but I'll shut up. Oh, this is a good bit too. She survived, though. She survived. For everybody listening on the radio, Pete actually tried to strangle someone at that moment. Start off talking about, because I saw the two of you and Roger, talking about the running order of the set on stage tonight during the check. What's the running order like now? Now have you changed the actual songs around that you use in the show? Because I think you've changed them a bit since you've been on tour this time, haven't you?
Yeah, but I mean, what we did really is we radically changed the set that we were playing last year. We did a lot of touring in 1980. We did about 6 months, really, about half the year was devoted to live work, and then about another 3 months devoted to recording. And we tended to lock into a particular act which we used right from January 1980 right through to the end of the year. And once we did the new album, Face Dances, and we had a few new numbers to include, we started off with maybe 4 or 5 new numbers. And it's quite tricky making the transition. You know, the flow from song to song is very critical, particularly for a band like us, because not all of our material is up-tempo, you know, so you have to, in order to keep the energy up and to keep the excitement up, you've got to be very careful about what flows into what. So it's just a bit of a debate about, you know, like what went where.
But you started off, I think, playing a lot more new stuff than you had done, and then changed it. Is that right?
What was that on this tour?
On the beginning of this tour.
Yeah, the British tour. We did. Yeah, we started off not so much playing that much new stuff. I think we were playing 5 new songs. But what we had done is we'd really devastated the old act. You know, I was really keen to sort of live a bit dangerously with the Who, and to some extent I still feel that way. I still think the Who, if there's anything dangerous about the Who's position, it is that it's very easy for us to rest on our laurels, because we've had such a long career now, like practically 13 years, and so many really, you know, like monumental classic smashes, like the material from Quadrophenia and Tommy and the early material of My Generation, then later on Won't Get Fooled Again and stuff like that. I mean, that material really does hold an act together very much, and you tend to lean on it a lot. And so I wanted as much new material as possible, but I also wanted to drop, I wanted to drop the stuff from Tommy, and I wanted to drop My Generation, and I wanted to introduce a lot of new material into the encore. And Roger agreed with me, and everybody in the band thought it was a good idea, but we went a bit over the top to begin with. Our first few gigs in London were really peculiar.
Yeah, I heard you gave a speech at the end of the first one, I think.
Well, Roger got into a state, and because his monitors were terrible. And I was really drunk and determined to have a good time. And I just thought the audience were just, I don't know, I suppose expecting too much of the band. You know, it was our first gig in London. And I thought, well, you know, what do they want? You know, we're not perfect any more than any other band is perfect. And, you know, there's lots of myths and legends about The Who, but still not perfect.
How much of that do you think, though, comes from you thinking about the band rather than the audience themselves? I've often thought, for instance, that the audience still like the band, that's why they come and see you. But you'd seem to do a lot of thinking yourself about how the band now relates to an audience that maybe has grown up with the band or maybe has come new to the band.
I don't do that much thinking about it, actually. I mean, I'm very conscious of it, and I think every band should be. I think a young band should be very conscious of the fact that it shouldn't isolate itself from the general melee of record buyers. You know, I mean, it's all very well Adam and the Ants breeding all these little ant people, you know, but they're going to end up like the Small Faces in the end, you know, with an audience of 16-year-old girls who eventually get pregnant and go and, you know, marry stockbrokers, and then they'll have no audience left. So they've obviously got to be very conscious of keeping them, and that's what we've always done. We've always gone for the other thing with The Who is we've always gone for more of a male audience. It's not to say that we don't like seeing, you know, a lot of females in the audience. It's just that, like, I've always thought that the male audience was more loyal.
I'll think about that one. Yeah. I'm still thinking about that one, but I refuse to reveal my conclusions.
Ja. Also ich möchte das, was Pete Townshend gerade gesagt hat, eigentlich nur in einem Satz zusammenfassen, dass er sagt, dass es für eine Gruppe wie die Who, die schon so lange im Geschäft ist, die schon so lange Musik macht, über die verschiedenen Zeiten hinweg, es eine unheimlich große Versuchung ist, sich an die großen Erfolge, die ja bei den Who da sind, anzulehnen und immer wieder dasselbe spielen. Er hat in einem Interview mal gesagt, er hat es satt, dass Kenny Jones an seinem Schlagzeug immer dieselbe Playlist hat. Und sie haben jetzt in diesem Jahr versucht, mit ihrer neuen Tour und auch mit ihrem Auftritt hier neues Material zu kombinieren mit älteren Sachen, also mit schon bekannten Sachen. Und das war übrigens auch, was ich vorher schon erwähnt habe, die Schwierigkeit, die dann in London zu diesen Unzufriedenheit mit dem Publikum eigentlich geführt hat, dass, wie Pete Townshend sagt, er die Gruppe da etwas überfordert hat. Das hat sich inzwischen eingeschliffen. Und ein zweites möchte ich noch sagen, was mir bei den Who ganz wichtig erscheint. Sie sind eine Gruppe, die ihre Konflikte schon immer ausgetragen haben, mit den verschiedensten Mitteln. Nicht? Die Kenner werden das wissen, wie das dann abläuft. Und sie sind in der Lage, dass einer das Beste aus dem anderen rausholt. Also Pete Townshend aus Roger Daltrey das Beste rausholt und umgekehrt. Und das hat die Who eigentlich die ganze Zeit am Leben gehalten.